All right, hello, welcome to this weather update. It's 10 o'clock, and plenty of sunshine again today. Just a few clouds in the afternoon, came in some high clouds, but after yesterday's hike I took, you'll see a little later, I dragged myself for a little walk at Pine Lawn because it was so nice, and I had to see some more of these beautiful pines. But we did have some clouds. We had some contrails, but we also had some altocumulus that rolled in around 3 o'clock as well. See some really unusual looking altocumulus. I actually took pictures of it. Kind of like a little, like a wave type of cloud or something. Look at that. It's kind of pretty. Look at that. It's really cool looking. So really pretty stuff. But anyway, pretty nice day today, all in all. Go look at the weather we had today. And of course, yes, we're going to talk about the rest of the country. But first, let's talk about our area first. All right. Also got to talk about the tornadoes that hit New Jersey yesterday as well. So we'll look at what the day was like at Islip. You can see it's 48. I got 54 in the alley. I measured the temperature. Well, not that cool. But you see they had a decent sea breeze today. So temperatures pretty much only got to around average across Long Island, you could see. But I'm sure it was a lot warmer in New Jersey. So we're going to put this on the map. And you can see some pretty strong southerly winds throughout the day here. So let's go and look at our high temperatures. And you can see across Long Island, mid-50s generally, 54, 52 at Islip, 54 at Farmingdale. As you head to the North Shore, more like 57, 57 at LaGuardia. As you go into New Jersey, much warmer. If you were in Toms River, you were up to 60. Lakehurst, 62. 58 for a high at Central Park. So those areas went up being above normal, probably for the day. But for us, we were actually near normal. So let's take a look at the low temperatures now. And you'll see we got pretty chilly last night. Temperatures in the upper 20s to around 30 in a lot of Long Island. In West Hampton, what did I tell you? 19 degrees for a low at West Hampton. So, yeah, pretty chilly all across the island this morning. Obviously, the city holding on to the heat there. It's the low around 39 at Central Park. And in Toms River, we got a low of 29 and 25 at Lakehurst. Not quite as cold as West Hampton. So let's go look at the latest with the tornado situation from yesterday. Storm surveys and detailed text summary of the tornadoes that hit New Jersey on April 1st. So update 6 survey team confirmed 2 additional tornadoes in New Jersey. So it's a total of 4 tornadoes now, I think. Preliminary rating of both is EF1 with estimated peak winds of 90 miles an hour. So a line of severe thunderstorms crossed the region Saturday night. And let me see if we can make this a little larger. It's a little... That's better. So you can see it. I mean, I can see it, but... So a line of severe thunderstorms crossed the region Saturday night, April 1st, 2023. A total of... 8 tornadoes have been confirmed. This is from Mount Holly. 6 tornadoes in New Jersey now. So we're up to 6 New Jersey, 6 tornadoes. It was New Jersey becoming Tornado Alley. 1 in Pennsylvania and 1 in Delaware. Because again, it's the way it is set up in New Jersey. It's just the heat just builds there. So in Mays Landing in New Jersey, there was a tornado. Additionally, we're still investigating. They're investigating damage in the following area, Mays Landing. So, tornado statistics for Delaware, and the only other fatality in a tornado in Delaware occurred in an F2 tornado in July 21st, 1983. The strongest tornado in Delaware struck on April 28th, 1961 in Newcastle at an F3 rating. Let's talk about the tornadoes that occurred here. So, the first tornado we're going to talk about is the Bridgeville. Actually, we're not going to cover the Delaware tornado, just the New Jersey ones. All right. So, Jackson Township, New Jersey tornado. EF2. Wow, that was an EF2. That's incredible. Estimated peak wind 130 miles an hour. It was on the ground for 2.1 miles. Its width was 200 yards. Fortunately, no fatalities or injuries. It started at 7:24, April 1st, 2023, and ended at 7:27. So the tornado formed along an eastward moving rotating supercell within a line of thunderstorms and made an initial touchdown near Patterson Road off of West Commodore Road in Jackson Township and continued east for approximately 3/4 of a mile long and 200 yards with a path across the residences on the north side of Stonehenge Court and along West Commodore Boulevard before going across the residences and businesses across Wright, Depot, and Hamilton Road. Dozens of large hardwood and softwood trees were snapped or uprooted in a convergent pattern. Power poles downed and snapped, fences demolished, and sheds, small outbuildings, and dumpsters flipped or moved. Despite the significant tree damage, generally only minor siding and roof shingle damage was noted. The damage was consistent with EF winds of 90 to 110 miles an hour. The tornado then strengthened to its current greatest intensity as it continued east, across a cleared and paved area to a newly built large warehouse development. The southern half of the warehouse, made up of several three-story concrete prefab tilt-up walls, both on the east and west side, tied together with metal roofing above, collapsed in an eastward direction. Based on the degree of damage and construction, this was determined to be a high-end EF2 with winds of 120 to 130 miles an hour. That is impressive. Really disturbing. Luckily, it was not at that strength when it was going through the residential area. In addition, dozens of hard and softwood trees on the south and southeast side of the building and east side parking lot were uprooted and trunks snapped, laying in an east-northeast direction. The tornado continued on, now in an east-southeast direction, for about 3/4 mile, with about 200 miles of a width, 200 yards path width, just north of gas time, around Diamond Road and back around West Commodore Road and into the residences around Indiera Lane and Oak Tree Lanes. The most extensive tree and power line damage was seen along West Commodore Road, with hundreds of mature hard and softwood trees uprooted and snapped in a convergent pattern. Numerous power poles down and snapped, as well as roofing and insulation debris from the warehouse being littered along the way. The tree damage along part of West Commodore Road was consistent with winds of 100 to 120 miles an hour. The tornado appeared to be weakening to EF0 as it entered the residences around Indiera Road and Oak Tree Lanes, south of West Commodore, with the tree damage path becoming scattered and narrowing to 100 yards, and only minor siding and roof shingle damage noted. The tornado likely occluded just before reaching the Land Alpines mobile home park where the tornado path ended. And they'd like to thank Jackson Township Emergency Management, Ocean County Emergency Management, and New Jersey State Police for their help in this survey. So, incredible. So, let's look at the area that was involved in this tornado. We'll pull it up and just look at it briefly here. And again, this is Jackson Township. So Jackson Township, and I'll look for Commodore Road. I'll see if we can find it, so we can get an idea, just general idea of road. I don't see Commodore Road here. Maybe I'm spelling it wrong. Don't see it here. All right, there it is. West Commodore Boulevard. Okay, so here we go. So this is the road right here, 524. All right, so right Diamond, yes. Let's see if we can find it. Right Debo, yeah. So it was in this general area right here that it hit. And it went through a cleared area. Oh, yeah, this is probably where it hit, right here. So this general area right here is the area that was affected by this. And, yeah, there's Pine Barrens over here as well. So the Pine Barrens probably, strong as they are, I don't think they can take a tornado. But you can see this is generally a Pine Barrens area over here. And unfortunately, a lot of these beautiful trees probably got knocked down by that tornado, unfortunately. But anyway, let's get to the next one. Well, that's not what we need to look at. That's still not what we need to look at. All right, here is what we need to look at. Jackson Howell Township, New Jersey tornado. Rating an EF2. Estimated peak winds 120 miles an hour. Path length 1.4 miles. That's, again, on the ground for a while. And an EF2 is pretty strong. Path width 150 yards. Fortunately, no fatalities or injuries. Started at 7:33 in Jackson Township, New Jersey, and then April 1st. This is the end date, April 1st, at 7:34. So 1 minute only. Howell Township, Monmouth County, New Jersey. Okay, so this is the Howell Township tornado we're talking about. So it's a different tornado. Came from the same supercell. A tornado formed along an eastward-moving, rotating supercell within a line of thunderstorms and made an initial touchdown on the north side of Palomino Drive. A 100-yard wide path of dozens of large hardwood and softwood trees were snapped and uprooted in a convergent east-to-northeast pattern between the north side of Palomino Drive and the high-tension power lines paralleling to the north. In addition to the extensive tree damage, numerous fences were demolished with moderate roof and shingle damage to houses on the north side of Palomino Drive. The path of tree damage continued east-southeast across North New Prospect Road and along the north-northeast periphery of the newly built Paragon apartment complex. The degree of tree and home damage is consistent with winds of 100 to 120 miles an hour. The tornado continued east-southeast down to the intersection of Larson Road and Maplewood Place. Several large, hard, and softwood trees were snapped or uprooted in a convergent pattern and power poles down on either side of Larson at this intersection. The tornado tracked east-southeast across the residences along the east side of Maplewood and the northeast section of Dogwood Road with about 150-yard width path of dozens of large trees snapped or uprooted in a convergent pattern, power poles down or snapped, fences demolished, and sheds flipped or moved. Despite the significant tree damage, generally only minor siding and roof shingle damage was noted. The damage was consistent with an EF1 with winds of 90 to 110 miles an hour. The tornado moved southeast from here across a shallow northeast to southwest cleared valley area along the Monmouth-Ocean County border with transmission lines running through. No damage was noted to the transmission lines or the metal truss tower, so JCP&L's transmission infrastructure at least held up in that area, fortunately, because that's a major corridor. The tornado then likely strengthened to its greatest intensity as it continued east-southeast from the clearing to the residences on the southwest corner of Spicy Pond Road. Numerous large trees were snapped and uprooted in a 300-yard long and 150-yard wide convergent pattern. Fences demolished and several houses having minor to moderate siding, gutter, awning, deck, and roof shingle damage. The worst damage occurred to a house facing the southwest on the southwest corner of Spicy Pond Road, whose roof was lifted and tossed into their backyard and immediate neighbor backyard. Some of the debris, including a larger roof rafter, was lofted about 125 yards, impaling the roof and second floor of a house on the east side of Addison Road. In addition, some siding from the house was impaled into the siding of the neighboring house to the north, with insulation and siding debris littering the neighborhood for about 200 yards to the east-southeast. Based on the degree of the damage and construction, this was determined to be an EF2, another EF2, wind damage of 110 to 120 miles an hour. The tornado likely quickly occluded after passing Addison Road, ending its short path. So, again, just impressive here. And now we go to the Cinnamons, Delran, Morristown, New Jersey tornado, which was an EF1. 100-mile-an-hour peak winds. It was on the ground for 6 miles. 600 yards path length. Then it started at 6:59 p.m. and ended at 7:03. Wow, it covered 6 miles in that amount of time. So you can imagine how fast it was moving. A tornado formed along the line of thunderstorms, made an initial touchdown in Cinnamonstown, New Jersey, near the intersection of Riverhead and Woodside. I'm not going to read all of these, so this is a little further south. So I'm just kind of sticking to the general metro area here. Another tornado in Seagirt, New Jersey, EF2, estimated peak winds of 110 to 120 miles an hour. Let me show you the area that was involved in the Howell tornado. So let's go. This is Jackson over here, and Howell Township is just north of Lakewood, so it's over here. And there's an area of power lines. And what was the name of that road there? Spicy Pond Road. You're in the Pine Barrens when they come up with names like this. So, yeah, it was in this general area. You can see the power lines over here. So this is the general area that it was involved, that it wound up hitting over here. You can see this is the power lines that luckily didn't sustain any damage right here. These are mostly metal here. These are wood H frames, but they held up, I guess. And then there's another line over there. Yeah, this is the general area that this happened in. There's Larson Road, so we're familiar with Larson now. Maps is deciding not to work, but yeah, this general area over here, and this is the Paragon. So this is where they built that new apartment complex. So this general area right here is what was hit in Howell. All right, let's go back to this. All right, so and that's the Howell one. All right, so let's go up to the Seagirt one here. The Cinnamonstown one, I mean, this is incredible here that it stayed on the ground for 6 hours. It really did. But I have the link if you want to read every single thing below. This is a lot. All right, Seagirt, New Jersey tornado, EF2. All right, it was only on the ground for about 0.14 miles, but it was estimated peak wind 110 to 120 miles an hour. A very narrow tornado, 50 yards. Started at 7:42, ended at 7:44. A tornado formed from an east-southeast moving, rotating supercell within a line of thunderstorms that made a brief touchdown on the National Guard training grounds in Seagirt, New Jersey. The tornado developed over Stockton Lake and tracked east-southeast over the New Jersey Youth Challenge Academy. The entire half-dome, wood-frame, shingle roof of the southwest-facing Academy building, about 25 yards wide and 50 yards long, was lifted and thrown eastward. The debris was lofted and strewn for about 250 yards to the east-northeast in a tampering, semicircled debris drag marks and layout pattern. In addition, one tree was uprooted and laid in an east-northeast direction. The tornado likely lifted as it tracked east across the parking lot and open grass fields, and based on the damage, it's an EF2. Isolated large tree damage was noted upstream of the National Guard Training Center, starting at the corner of Seagirt Avenue and Route 35, working east-southeast down Seagirt Avenue across the intersection of Atlantic and Broad Street. Where was I reading there? To Pierce Avenue and behind the Manasquan Fire Department. There's not enough evidence in the damage in there to indicate that was probably just due to a rear flank downdraft there. All right. Small bleacher was overturned at Manasquan Little League fields as well. And this was the right Newton, and then we have the Palmyra Riverton NJ downburst. So this is a downburst here. So this also affected that Cinnamonston Avenue. And this is like a Philadelphia suburb, Cinnamonston. So a lot to talk about there, and obviously I want to talk about a bunch of other stuff too, but just incredible to see all these tornadoes just break out like this. It's really incredible to see. Just really incredible. So all right, this is a satellite image. You can see the clouds increasing. Looking at our weather map, you see we have a slow-moving front that's to the north, a series of slow-moving fronts. That high is kind of moved offshore. We're going to get in that return flow, which means warmer weather. We've had more severe weather in the Midwest today, in Texas. Right now it's down to marginal, but it was pretty active actually earlier. I think there were a couple of tornado watches. Look what happens, though, as we get toward let's look what happens when we get toward day 3. As we get toward later in this week here, we're going to have to worry yet again in the same area for severe weather, the same area that was just hit about 3 or 4 days ago. So let's go now to the models here, and get the models. I'll load the models up here. I can't find them. All right, I guess maybe I forgot to put them up. Tropical tidbits. Let's do it. I don't know. Anyway, here we go. So much going on. So much to talk about. So let's start with the upper air here, and let's go to the jet stream. All right, so here's your 18Z GFS jet stream, and I'm not even going to look at the euro because it's been so ridiculous. So see that trough in the west again. You see that continue here. Ridge in the east. You see that again continue here. A little weak trough there, but jet streams generally favoring troughiness in the west again. All right, so look at the upper air. Pretty much the same old story. We get a big ridge Thursday. All right, so that's a big ridge right there. It's going to come down. That's going to heat things up quite a bit. That's going to be a very warm day, and then you have a little bit of troughiness here, but generally you got the ridge in the east. All right, and that generally is going to favor above normal temperatures. So when we look at the Climate Prediction Center, actually it has most of the country now above normal. So generally speaking, because the trough in the west is a little weaker, so above normal temperature and below normal in the east. All right, so let's go to the surface here, and we'll go look at the surface here on the GFS, and that's the only one I'm going to look at this point. So you see tomorrow, we're going to have a very warm day tomorrow. South winds there, especially if you're in New Jersey, it'll be even warmer, and then you can see the cold front coming here as we go toward Wednesday and Thursday, but it's going to get stuck a little bit on Thursday and stall out before eventually pushing to the south on Friday, and then high pressure builds in and should clear things out by the weekend, keeping that storm well offshore. We'll have to see what happens. It looks like that storm might wind up getting stuck there. Of course, this is way in the future. But you can see, generally speaking, not a very wet pattern. So for those, it seems like since Mrs. Umbrella left Channel 12, it seems like we're finally getting, the rain is finally not being so much of an issue, but now we're dry and we're in the middle of fire season. So that brings us to the weather and hazards map. Let's get that up here. Where is it? All right, so We go here, we go to the weather and hazards map, and just looking at the hazards. We're not actually looking at the observations here. We'll just look at the hazards here. You'll see the wind issues and the red flag warnings into West Texas. And yes, more snow for the Dakotas again. All right, so let's go back to the tidbits here, and we'll take a closer look at our area. Oh, yeah, let me just show you the temperature anomaly chart. All right. So let's back this up. So here we are tomorrow. You'll see the above normal temperatures, the pink, especially over New Jersey there, whole east, below normal in the west. What else is new? And we stay above normal pretty much right until we get to Friday, where we're still a little bit above normal. Then by the weekend, we're around near normal. The above normal weather ramps up again for next week, which much of the country now being above normal just expands there. And you'll see the west being below normal. Same old story that we've always been dealing with. All right. So let's look at the HRRR model now, and we'll go and look at the zeros of the HRRR. All right. So see, no precipitation tomorrow. We stay dry. It's trying to generate some showers. That's the backdoor front that we'll have to watch. That might get stuck over us and give us some gloomy weather on Wednesday. And then this would be the front approaching Wednesday night. And yeah, I don't see a V here, but we're going to have to watch for this, all right, for the possibility of thunderstorms. It's still a ways away from that. So let's go look at our dew points and wind flow. And you'll see southerly winds to start tomorrow. Becoming a little more southwesterly, so that could bring in some of the warmth, a little more moisture in the air. We start really feeling that moisture as you get toward Wednesday a little more. But then you see that backdoor trying to come in, and that could, at least on Long Island, give us that, kind of a damp east flow. It could keep clouds and drizzle or light rain showers around. But if you're in Jersey, you're going to be dealing with some humid, warm air, as you see. And if I put this over here and I put temperatures, just look at the difference here. Jersey, you could be, now along the coast, it might be a little cooler, but inland, you could be going with 80 degrees perhaps. But Long Island, we may not even hit 50 because of that backdoor front that stalls out. Now, for tomorrow, we're not going to have that. So we're going to start off warm. I think 70 is a good bet in a lot of Long Island before the sea breeze comes in. And if you're in Jersey, probably mid-70s. The city, probably the same. And then you'll see the temperatures drop with the sea breeze coming in. And then there's that back door for Wednesday. All right, that's really impressive right there. All right, and I'd imagine the GFS has the same situation, though. It has the back door a little further to the south on Wednesday. Very interesting here. So we're going to have to watch what happens with that. But tomorrow will be a warm day. Tomorrow will definitely be warmer than Wednesday. All right, and again, I think a lot of us will have a good bet of seeing 70 degrees, especially middle of the island. Could be above 70. All right, so obviously you see that back door front set up for Wednesday. We'll show the dew points here. So you see here comes the actual cold front here ahead of it. Strong southwesterly winds. This could give us very warm on Thursday, very humid, and have drier air again. This is something that I'm going to be a little concerned about here with thunderstorms again. We could have more severe weather. And then for Friday, drier air moves in with light northwest winds, and then just light winds on the weekend, light easterly winds with the dew points and wind flow. Not going to really go beyond that. But let's see what those temperatures are going to get up to. Let's see what the GFS does to us on Thursday. I'm afraid to look. Yeah, it's going to be hot. I mean, could be mid-70s to near 80 in Jersey. And even in middle of the island, Nassau County, it's over 70 is a good bet probably. South Shore, well, of course, they get the best of everything. They won't be sweating. They'll be in the 60s. Again, people don't want to deal with it. I have made another video about that. But let's look at what happens Friday night. You'll see the temperatures drop. And now we have temperatures generally in the mid-50s there. And then mid-50s generally. So close to normal for the weekend generally. But things will start heating up again as we get toward the middle of April. You'll see that. I'm not going to go that much further on that. But anyway, let's go look at the skies next. So this is a GFS, low-resolution model, but it has sun. Probably be sun and some cirrus around tomorrow, but I think there'll be sun. You won't see much of the sun on Wednesday. Thursday, it's debatable how much sun you're going to see. It's going to be pretty incredible if it gets that warm without the sun. The sun comes out, it could be even warmer. And then for Friday, we try to push this front to the south. The clouds may hang on. We have to wait until Sunday for it to clear out. I think the GFS is being a little too big with the extent of that cloud cover. I think it's going to be, because if you look at the Canadian, which makes a lot more sense, because you see that high, So the Canadian has it much further to the south for Saturday. So I think there'll be sun on Saturday. Friday, it's iffy. Speaking of that, let's look at the RGEM, the higher resolution Canadian model. All right, so here's tomorrow. You see, we'll still have sunshine. A few high clouds around, especially get toward the afternoon. But then here comes that backdoor front, the fog. And you'll clearly see, look at this. Again, you can clearly see where the backdoor front is set up, literally by looking at where the clouds are. There's your warm front right there. It's stuck right there. that's something. So here we are into Thursday, and you see the RGEM takes the sun out, and that's what we got to worry about. That sun could really destabilize things, but it's still a number of days away. I can't even, we'll have to wait until more short-range models come in. It's way too early in the game to know what's going to happen Thursday. But just be advised, when that front comes through, that's when we could watch out for that severe weather element of it. We're going to have to really be careful with that because, again, you have juiced up atmosphere, the sun comes out, cold front comes through. We saw what happened just a few days ago. So let's lastly go to iSlip, and we'll also pull up the radar here so you can see what's going on the radar. See that line of showers over there, snow over there, and a few stray thunderstorms in Texas, not like what it was earlier. So let's go look at the statistics first for iSlip today, and then we are going to go look at the statistics for the month of March, which I have to talk about as well. So first we'll do the daily climate report. iSlip, 53 was the high, normal value 54, the low was 29, normal value 37. We actually wound up being 4 degrees below normal today, especially because of that low, because of that radiational cooling. But again, you compare this, and then you compare it to the city, Central Park. Central Park got up to 59. Central Park was actually at normal for the day. All right, and then if we continue, if I go to Newark, probably above normal. Let's see. What? 66? Oh, my God. So much hotter in Jersey. Newark was 2 degrees above normal. Oh, my God. That's crazy right there. So it shows you how much warmer it is in New Jersey. All right, it really does. It's incredible how much warmer it is there. All right, so let's go look at the monthly weather summary for March. We'll start with iSlip. And you'll see here for iSlip, March. Seems like they've changed the way this looks a little bit here. The average maximum was 50. The normal value, 47.7, 2.4 degrees above normal for the high. The average minimum, 33.4. The normal is 32. 1.4 degrees above normal for the minimum. The mean, that gives us a mean for the month of March, 41.8. And the normal value is 39.9. That's still 1.9 degrees above normal. So almost 2 degrees above normal for March. Yet again above normal. So let's look at Central Park now. Well, I wanted to look at the precipitation. So how are we doing precipitation here? I think we were close to normal for that. We got 3.83 inches of rain, actually below normal on precipitation. All right, let's go to Central Park. All right, so Central Park's was running about also 2 degrees above normal. I'm not going to get into all of this here, but show you 2 degrees above normal precipitation, also below normal there. Now let's go to Newark because I have a feeling Newark is going to have a bigger anomaly. Let's see. Newark, yeah, 2.4 degrees above normal. So sure enough, New Jersey, the fastest warming state once again, and that's where we're seeing all the severe weather there. But yeah, if I can't live to where I need to on Long Island, that may be where I may wind up having to live. So that wraps up this weather update. Thank you for watching and have a good night.